Globe and Maps. Introduction. If you want to visit your friend's home for the very first time, how would you reach there? By his name and address. But if you're planning to visit a far-off city or a country on our planet Earth, like Toronto, Singapore, or New York, then how will you find that? Despite the fact that you have his name and address, it is very difficult to locate that place. Then, what is the solution? How will you reach there? This problem can be solved by the use of globe and maps. In this chapter, you will study about these two, that is globe and maps, types of maps and their uses and language, and symbols of maps. Globe. Can you identify this historical monument? Right. This is a model of Taj Mahal, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world situated in Agra. We use models to visualize the things so as to understand its basic structure and features, like a model of a car, aeroplane, train, ship, or our solar system, etc. Similarly, we need a model to study our planet Earth. Can you name the model of Earth? Globe is a true model of the Earth. Do you remember the shape of Earth? Yes, you can say it is round like a ball. Then why don't we take a ball as a model of the Earth? We can't take a ball as a model because our Earth is not perfectly round. It has a unique shape. It is slightly flat or depressed at the poles as it spins continuously on its own axis. That is why the poles get flat. Scientists named it the geoid shape. Therefore, globe is called a true model of the Earth which has the same shape. Now look at the Earth carefully. It is tilting towards the sun, and the same tilt can be observed in a globe. The globe is a 3-dimensional model and represents the whole Earth, that is oceans, continents, countries, etc., in their true shapes and sizes relative to each other. 2/3 of our Earth is water, and rest 1/3 is land. The surface area of both water and land can be seen on a globe. Blue color on the globe shows the presence of water, and 7 large colored zones are land masses, which are called continents. Can you name the largest continent of the world? Yes, it is Asia, in which our country India lies. The horizontal line at the mid of the globe is called equator, which divides our Earth, and we can say a globe, in 2 equal parts. You must have read about the directions in your previous classes, that is north, south, east, and west. Thus, the area in north is called Northern Hemisphere, and south is called Southern Hemisphere. A vertical line dividing the globe into Eastern and Western Hemisphere is called Prime Meridian. Now, can you find your country or state on the globe? It is really difficult to find a country or state on the globe unless you know its exact location. For that, a grid system has been designed in which parallels of latitudes and longitudes help a user to find a place easily. These horizontal lines on the surface of the globe are called latitudes, whereas the vertical lines are called longitudes. You will study about these in detail in your next chapter. Thus, we have seen that the globe is very useful to us, but there are some limitations to its use. Like, people find it very difficult to carry. This problem has been solved by using folding globes. These globes can be inflated or deflated as per requirement. But there are some other difficulties in the use of globes. one cannot see the entire surface of the earth at a glance on the globe. Moreover, detailed information about landforms, roads, railways, towns and villages, etc. cannot be obtained on a globe. For such a detailed information, we depend upon maps. Map. Have you ever seen a map? You might have seen in some digital game you play. How does it look? Round, conical, or flat? Yes, flat. And what do you find on it? Usually there is a line drawing showing some path with direction arrows. Like globes, maps are also used to find the places on Earth. A map has a generally flat surface. It has a symbolic representation of parts of the Earth and are drawn to scale. By scale means the proportion between the actual or ground distance between two places on the Earth and the distance between these 2 points on the map. For example, if 2 points are at a distance of 1 kilometer on the ground and these 2 points are shown 1 centimeter apart, then the scale of the map will be 1 centimeter to a kilometer. Many scientists have worked on maps, but the idea of longitudes and latitudes was first introduced by Ptolemy, a Greek scientist in the 2nd century AD. In comparison to a globe, maps are easier to carry and understand. But there are also some limitations to their uses. As you've noticed that a map has a flat surface, but our Earth is not flat. It is round, and it is very difficult to convert a round or a spherical surface into a flat surface. Have you ever tried to flatten a cut rubber ball into a flat surface? Let's try and see what happens to it. Now it is flat. You can see that the rubber ball is torn on the edges. Similarly, in the case with the northern and southern portions of the Earth, when they are stretched out of proportion on a map, the map thus is not an accurate representation of the Earth. Despite of this fact, maps are very useful to us, and we use them more often than we use globes. The most important advantage of the map is that we can draw a part or the whole of the Earth on a map, and many details like road, railways, rivers, landforms, etc. can be shown on such a map. Types of maps. What is this? This is a map of India. These are also maps of India, but are they similar? Yes, the physical boundary is same in the three, but there are some differences. Can you find any differences among these? Let's check it out. First map is the political map of India. Map in the middle is showing different rivers in India, and the third map is showing amount of rainfall in India. Thus, these three maps are maps of India only, but showing three different features of India. Thus, maps are not of a single type showing cities and states, but they also show different features. The most basic categories of maps are physical, political, and thematic. Let's understand these more clearly. Political maps show political features of a country. That is, its states and capitals, the boundaries and the neighboring countries and states, etc. Some of the maps show physical features of a country, like mountains, oceans, plains, plateaus, islands, etc. These are known as physical maps. Let's talk about thematic maps. Have you ever seen a thematic map? Thematic maps are based on a particular theme, like climate of a place, distribution of forest, population distribution, soil transportation, rainfall, industries, minerals, etc. These maps are named on the basis of what is shown by them. Language of map. See this map carefully. What do you observe? This map is showing a title, direction arrows, and some symbols of different colors. Do you know the meaning of these? Let's understand the meaning of these. This is the title of the map. What is the significance of the title? For example, the title of this map is India Vegetation. That means this map is showing different types of vegetation prevailing in different parts of India. The second thing to be observed is direction arrows. Can you name the 4 major directions? Right, north, south, east, and west. You might have observed an upright arrow mark in the upper right corner of a map. The tip of the arrow is often marked with the letter N. This arrow indicates which side of the map is the north side of the area shown on the map. The arrow is called the north line. With the direction of north given on the map upwards, the other 3 main directions, the east, the west, and the south, can be easily found. On a map, generally the north is indicated upwards by the tip of an arrow. The south is downwards. The east is to the right and the west to the left. These 4 major directions are called the cardinal points of the compass. This is an instrument which shows the directions. Besides these 4 major directions, the intermediate directions like the northeast, the southeast, northwest, southwest, etc. can also be easily found. The map also has some symbols or keys which tell the story of the map. The symbols are used to show different features on the map. Some of these symbols have definite or fixed meanings. These are called conventional signs. Like this symbol represents level crossing. This symbol shows river bed, and this is a symbol of district boundary. This symbol represents well with relative depth. This shows tube well, and this is for a spring. Can you guess what this symbol shows? This is used to show railway line with station, and this shows railway line with a bridge. Such common symbols like these are called conventional signs. Though the maps are only 2-dimensional, yet they can give an idea of the 3rd dimension. Like if we want to give or get an idea of the height of a mountain or the depth of a sea, there are many ways to do so. Colors can be used to show the height of land or the depth of sea. Generally, various shades of brown are used to show the height of the land areas, and shades of blue are used for showing the depth of water. A light blue color shows a lesser depth, and a deeper blue color shows more depth. Lines are also used to show information on the maps. Lines of equal value are drawn to show height of places. Such lines which join places of the same height are called contour lines. Similarly, temperatures of various places is shown by lines joining places with the same temperature. These are called isotherms. Now you have understood the directions, symbols of a map. But places or features which are shown very close on map, are they on the same distance on the earth? No, maps are drawn to scale. Thus the places appearing very close to each other are in reality far off on the ground. How can we know their actual distance? To know that, one must know about the scale of a map. A scale is a ratio between a unit distance on the map and the actual distance on the ground. Suppose a scale of a map is 1 to 250. It means that a distance of 1 centimeter on the map is equal to 250 kilometers on the ground. But some maps are drawn hurriedly and are not drawn according to a scale. Such a map is called a sketch. Suppose someone asks you to make a map of your room and you draw it hurriedly without any measurement, then this drawing will be a sketch, not a map. Sometimes maps are drawn at a very large scale to show many details of a small area. Such maps are called plans. Like if you want to show the number and position of benches in your classroom, you will have to draw a plan of the room itself. Such details cannot be shown on the map of your town or the city. A plan shows a small area on a large scale, and a map shows a large area on a small scale. Study of map and globe is very important in geography. The students of geography cannot study many things without maps, sketches, and plans. Maps provide information about far-off countries, places, features of different landforms, etc. They also show the rivers, mountains, and the roads, etc. in a country. Maps are friends and guides to us. Even the sketches which are drawn hurriedly are also useful. They can show the position of a few things in that area.